Hey everyone, welcome to Restaurant Tech Trends, where we explore restaurant technology trends with some of the industry's biggest movers and shakers in a rapid fire short interview format. This podcast is produced by Incept AI. Incept AI takes restaurant orders over the phone and in noisy drive-thrus with friendliness and precision. Learn more at incept.ai. Now to our guest. Today I'm joined by Eric Caron, Senior Director of Digital Products at Caribou Coffee. Caribou, which has over 800 coffee houses worldwide, has been doubling down on digital experience, menu innovation, and expansion while navigating major industry shifts. With Caribou's new energy drink platform, rapid growth in store count, and a shifting ownership landscape, Eric's in a sweet spot to unpack how tech, data, and product innovation are shaping the future of a national coffee brand. I'm so excited you're here, Eric. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Justin. Happy to be here.
I'm glad we were able to make it happen. I know it took a while. We got all the approvals, and here we are today.
Patience pays off,
Well,
right?
that's right. That's right. Well, let's start a little bit high level before we dive down a bit more into the deep tech stuff. So, there's been a lot of corporate news lately. The roasting and bad coffee business of Caribou has been sold or licensed out. We've had a lot of recent leadership changes. I think CEO, Chief Commercial Officer, Strategy Officer. What does all of that mean for the retail store side on the tech side, like for your roadmap and your priorities?
First, I'm a big fan of hot ones. Sean Evans normally waits for the hard questions till we got the last dab or the bomb. So um, I appreciate you shifting the format. No, it's a good important question. Lots to unpack in there. First, Scott becoming our CEO, Matt Ryder becoming our commercial and strategy officer. They're not new to Caribou. Matt's
Yeah.
been here almost as long as I've been here. Scott joined just a little bit later. So collectively, they've been at Caribou about 14 years. They're both very hands-on. Actually, my first interaction with Matt was I was complaining to him. We had launched a new strawberry mocha, and I was like, it just tastes weird. And he was like, well, his first he was like, okay, wait. How are you ordering it? I said, well, I'm just getting the large strawberry mocha and I'm swapping my milk for oat milk. He's like, hold on, that's your problem right there. And he started to explain the chemistry behind it and how the oat milk was making it alkaline. And he's like, and if you order it in the store, the barista is going to explain it to you in person and pause and say, are you really, really sure you like the taste of batteries? And I mean, that's been in Matt's DNA since the start of his time at Caribou. It's that blend. I mean, the biggest shift of when Scott took over is he comes from a CFO background, so he prefers spreadsheets over PowerPoints.
I see.
But at the core of it, he's going to be in a store. He's going to be talking to our guests. I mean, heck, when he started here, he was a notorious hot chocolate drinker. He would always rave about, why don't we talk more about our hot chocolate because it's made with real chocolate chips. And as a testament to his commitment to the role, he's drinking a lot more coffee and espresso every single day. Probably went way off topic on it, but they've been with the company long enough. They just know where the opportunities are and they're focusing. And so that's why we're so excited that the course that we're on right now.
That's awesome. So one hardcore longtime coffee guy and the other one been around hot chocolate, but coming into the fold.
Yep. Well said.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about how you're thinking about data, analytics, personalization at scale. How is this different than in the past? And has the new leadership had any impact on the way that you're thinking about this?
Yeah. I would say it's actually probably some lessons with AI there is we're investing in the importance of reproducible data. Plenty, we were a 35-year-old company, so we've always had, reports have been a thing that we show a lot of, but the data that we use now, we invest a lot in understanding how did we get that data? How can we trust that data? And if we run that same report again, is it giving us the same data? So we're big into Power BI. Our data lake is very large. It's coming in from all the different sources, but we have a wealth of people that can explain, here's how the data that came in got there, and here's why we trust it. We're running tests all the time. We've got control stores. We've got our test stores. We are tracking. It's not Facebook level where we're running 100 million tests at the same time, but we're intelligent enough, and it's thanks to our amazing data insights and analyst team that they're able to know, here's the reason that we can trust this test in these 3 markets, because here's how it comped to our lookalike stores, and this is a reason that this test is working. Slam on the gas, go full speed, or this test didn't quite give us the data we needed. Let's pivot there. So the investment in our data and knowing how to recreate it has been essential to our current state.
Few guests on recently, Eric, that have talked a lot about their use of CDPs. Are you guys using a CDP at Caribou, or is this all like internal that you're using when it comes to thinking about like menu innovation in particular, like figuring out like what menu items are performing well and what other menu items might need to drop?
It's a blend. Yes, we do use the CDP. M Particles been our CDP for several years. Loyalty is also a huge part of the Caribou experience. Caribou Perks has been around, I want to say 15 years. I should know the exact number. We use Patronics to make sure that all of our loyalty data, the loyalty experience is great, and that we're able to learn it. The worst thing would be if Scott was back when he was only a hot chocolate drinker, that we were just pushing him like coffee of the day, coffee of the day, coffee of the day. You have to have a good loyalty platform so you're giving the guest the right message at the right time. But the CDP with mParticle, Patronics for our loyalty, and the collection of internal data that we get because of our partnership with Toast is the way that we're able to get all that data together in the right place.
And has Toast been a good partner, by the way, for this scale? I mean, I think one of the things people don't realize in the industry is Toast historically has been thought of as like a mom or pop or like independent POS, but they've been making a really big push into enterprise.
Yeah, I
And
remember back when TechCrunch was super popular, and maybe it still is. I just don't subscribe to their blog anymore. In I think it was 2017, 2018, when Toast announced their existence. I remember reading that TechCrunch article and saying, "Hey, let's look at it." They themselves would have said that they weren't enterprise grade at the time, but they've been
yeah,
an absolutely fantastic partner. Their R&D department for what they're investing in, their partnerships for how they bring together, because they don't believe themselves that they're going to be the end all be all of everything. They know that it's a collaboration of Toast does this, and then the data has to come in from these places, and the data has to go out to those places. And
yeah.
it wasn't just the sales material up front. After we signed the contract, after we deployed, they continued to be a very, very important part of my tech stack.
Cool. Right on. Well, let's move out of like tech stack specifics and talk a little bit more about different formats. So you guys have been expanding. You've got standalone formats, you've got drive-through locations. Tell us a little bit about how not just ops, but tech as well has to shift to accommodate these different formats in order to ensure you've got a really great guest experience regardless of the format.
Yeah. So for anybody not familiar with the Caribou, go out and visit one. We're fantastic. But we basically have 2 different store formats. One of them we call the cabin format. It's a drive-through only, and the color blue you see is the way that you'll know when you see it on the horizon. Caribous stand out. And then the other concept that we used to call the chalet concept still has a drive-through, but also has an in-store experience. And I've always believed that there's really 2 kinds of people that come into a Caribou, and it doesn't matter if it's in-store or if it's the drive-through. There's the 6:30 in the morning, my kids kept me up screaming all night. I need that caffeine if I'm going to get through the day. Just give me the caffeine and get out of my way. There's that guest. And then there's the one that there for the experience. They might be celebrating something. They might have had something sad happen. They might be meeting a friend that they haven't seen in a while. And so they want that experience. They want to be like, I want them thinking about their drink up until they order the drink. And then once they order it, I want them living life. And so
Yeah.
that's an important part. And that's whether or not it's in the drive-through, order ahead with the app at the drive-through, or in the store. It's not just one order point. And that was a very big awakening for me when I joined, because I just figured like, yeah, it's ordering a latte. How hard can that be? But it's that overlap of when the guest is ordering the latte, what is their mindset, both personally in the community, in the world, and overlapping that, what we know about their experience, because they can check in with their phone number, they can check in with the app, and then understanding how are we cool, not creepy. Because there's definitely AI is amazing. AI has that very good capability that if we like pumped in all the data and you have that really creepy camera in the store that's like saying, oh, this is Justin. Justin looks grumpy. Justin typically orders a turtle mocha. Suggest him a turtle mocha. Like, no, we don't want that. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So we don't have that kind of video camera in our store that does facial recognition because we want that team member experience when you're walking in that store. The barista's there and looking at you like, hey, Justin, how are you doing? Are you having a good day? You want to get your regular again? Like that's part of the experience. So just because we could slam technology in, we don't want to replace the humans in the experience because that's vital to people having a good day.
Let's not go too deep into that because we're going to talk about that a little bit more later in a bit more
Fair
detail.
enough.
But you did mention mobile ordering. We talked a little bit about rewards. You talked about the different mindsets of people as they're ordering their drinks. I'd like to understand maybe more like examples or like practical level is over the past 2 to 3 years, as you look at mobile ordering rewards, digital channels in general, how have those changed or evolved over the last couple of years to accommodate these different mindsets for guests ordering? And are there any major lessons that you've learned, or like, did you make any big mistakes along the way? And then maybe give us a glimpse of what's coming next.
Sure. Uh, it's probably on that edge of 3 to 4 years, but we made a strategic change in our technology set, moving us from, we had an Android specific app that was written in Kotlin. We had an iPhone specific that was written in Swift. We replatformed to Flutter. And in that time, it was a little bit nervous because Flutter wasn't quite as popular as it is today. Fortunately, we found out that one of the creators of Flutter, his mom was a very, very big Caribou fan. And that just felt like serendipity. It's like, all right, well, if the creator's mom loves Caribou, worst case scenario, we can give them a call and, you work really hard to make your mom happy. So investing in Flutter was fantastic because it's so nice to not have to think about why is the iPhone and Android acting different. Looking more recently, we made a shift in our payment provider. We implemented Stripe in the app, and that's been absolutely fantastic because you don't want to guess when they're making that order the amount of time that you're thinking about typing in your credit card. I want that as little as possible, right? You want to be daydreaming about how great is this latte going to taste. I don't want to have to be like, okay, is this a day where I use the Discover or the Amex or the Visa? So implementing Stripe has been great because it's a standard UI. Guests are familiar with it. It's really easy to save like, okay, this is my work credit card. This is my personal credit card. One of the other features, let's see if I can get my app to show on the screen. Yeah, there it is. That apply recipe button. Normally, you walk into a store, you're feeling a little creative, but you don't want to make the Eric style mistake where you put oat milk in a strawberry mocha. So you ask the barista, hey, I'm a really big fan of the matcha chai. How would you modify it? Well, the app with the apply recipe option, you load up the matcha chai and you're feeling a little bit creative, and we've got 4 or 5 different alterations. It would say, try it with a marshmallow shot. That's pretty fun. Or if it's a regular chai latte, try it with an espresso shot because dirty chais are fantastic. So those are probably 3 of my favorite things that we've done in the mobile app. We've done a lot. We have a new release every month. But the payment provider, the recipes, and then just in general, still a huge fan of Flutter.
I love it. Well, you were talking a little bit earlier as well about AI and about how you can apply a lot of different technology, but you don't necessarily want it to be in the face of your guests. And you talked about the importance of having the barista there, that human experience, that interaction. I've experienced this directly with you, Eric, because we've talked about voice AI, and you've told me that's sort of like a third rail kind of thing right now at Caribou. But tell me a little bit more about some examples of where you do see tech getting in the way. It could be the voice AI thing, it could be the video thing, maybe it's something else. How do you draw that line of figuring out where technology is enhancing the guest experience versus being something deleterious to the guest experience?
It's getting out in the stores. It is the most fun part of working at Caribou is our guests love to answer questions. Our team members love to answer questions. Our general managers are absolutely brilliant. So for any of these topics, I'm out there and like, if I have that sense like, oh, I kind of need to explain, like if you have a cringe moment where you're explaining a technology, if it was being able to install a camera at the drive-thru to recognize somebody's car and license plate and automatically check them in. If you have that like creep feeling, that's where you lean away from it. If you're unsure, getting out and asking the guest is fantastic. And yeah, you and I have talked about there's definitely store concepts where AI solution and automating that ordering is fantastic. For Caribou's way that we order, as you're ordering, the drink is getting made, so we're able to reduce the time in line, just the way that we do our staffing. But that doesn't mean like AI doesn't belong in the drive-thru. NVIDIA RTX has an awesome solution that we could make the drive-thru, like you and I, we've got decent audio quality right now. There's no reason everybody at a drive-thru can't have this same level of both hearing and talking to the team member and the person in the car. It doesn't matter if it's a F-150 with a busted muffler. So like getting some of the nice AI technology out there to make it easier to hear. If I'm right next to the espresso maker, or if my kids singing the newest Disney tunes in the back, like we can put AI in some nice places to make everybody not have to think about the technology.
Okay, fair enough. Um, I want to take a step back and just ask a very general question, because I think a lot of operators and restaurant execs really struggle with this challenge of balancing innovation with reliability. I think being in a tech role, it's very natural for people to just gravitate to like new and exciting technologies that are changing all the time. And we want to experiment and have fun and see how they work. But then there's like the reality of like making sure the stores are running and we don't have like the network going down and the POS is always available. How do you balance this out? Like innovation, products, new channels with reliability? Is there like a litmus test that you run? Is there like a process or a playbook that you run to make sure that you're able to stay stable while you're experimenting?
Accountability. And we do this with our
Yeah.
mobile app team. The mobile app team, when we launch releases, we are constantly watching the reviews in Google Apps and in the Apple App Store. And we're replying to those. And that's a way that it's not just launch a thing, great, what's next? No, the team is holding themselves accountable for what we did, and remembering that, just because it went gold doesn't mean you're done. Now the real work starts.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm doing a test with digital menu boards, and it would have been very easy to just deploy it to a bunch of stores and call it a day. But I'm constantly checking in with the general managers. I'm visiting those stores in person. I'm talking with our vendor and making sure that whoever is thinking about the test isn't just talking about launching the test, but paying attention through the launch and has an exit strategy. So if, yep, this isn't working, we need to undo it. Even before you launch it, anybody that's deploying any technology at Caribou knows if this test fails, how do we undo it? Because the worst thing for a tech stack, if you got 98 different tests that are still kind of out there, but don't really have anyone to maintain them, that's
Yeah.
not sustainable.
Bit weedsy, but on the digital menu board test, are you mainly trying to optimize for speed of service, or is it more like a guest experience type of a thing, or is it both?
Uh, it's it's both. Like digital menu boards done wrong, you kind of you feel like you're walking into the back wall of a Best Buy, right? All the screens are at full brightness. You've got a little bit of a suntan coming on. Like you don't want that. You don't want to walk into a coffee house and think, "Wow, that TV is really bright." You want to walk into a
Yeah.
coffee house and only know that that's a digital menu board because there's animation on it. So yeah, that test is obviously it's about how do we increase ticket, but discoverability of our product, low maintenance for our teams, being able to 86 an item, like
Yeah.
that is the one thing that's so incredibly fun to be able to have in our solution is, let's say, because of how great Eric's been talking about the strawberry syrup from ages past, we're going to pick on that one again. But let's say we ran onto that strawberry syrup. Being able to have one single point that you beep and say, okay, we're out of this one, having it go off of our third-party delivery service, so you're not seeing it in DoorDash, having it go away
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
order ahead, having it disappear from the menu board. Like that's part of the fun of the digital menu board product, is just being able to not have the screen tell people early on, yeah, don't go for this one, but this one's still around and you're going to love it just as much.
Got it. Got it. All right. Well, we have one more question before we get to our rapid fires, and let's look at the future. When you think about like big bets, or you think about tech for Caribou in 2026 and beyond, what are you most excited about today?
I am most excited for getting guests the right message in the right platform at the right time. It
Yeah.
sounds so easy. Every single sales pitch you see from any customer experience platform solution turns it on. And time of day for Caribou isn't really that big. I'm not going to push anybody at 8 o'clock at night a push notification that says, come on in and get a triple espresso. Like, no, don't drink that at 8 o'clock at night. My sister's a nurse, so she can have it. Most people don't need a triple espresso at night. Being able to have the solution, know that I still love email. My wife loves text messaging. You might want a push notification. The marketing team shouldn't have to figure out how to slice and dice our loyalty platform in 78 different ways to know this guest wants a hot chocolate push notification. But the tech stack and MarTech investments that we've been doing, that makes me really, really excited to have a turnkey solution that gets the guest the right message at the right time in the right way.
Is there any loyalty provider you want to give a shout out to right now, or is that a little bit in the future? We'll see.
Paytronics has been a fantastic partner since 2017. We've got an absolutely awesome account team there, and they've been a very important part of our success. So still very happy to be working with Paytronics and excited for the new innovations we'll be working on with them.
Awesome. All right. Well, Eric, it's time for our rapid fire questions. So
Right.
for everyone that's still watching, Eric has no idea what these questions are. The rules of engagement here, Eric, are try to answer these questions with one word if you can. If you can do it with one word, one sentence. Are you ready?
I am ready. Challenge accepted.
All right. Latte or energy drink?
Latte.
Best feature of Caribou's mobile app today?
Speed. This is tough. I want to give a long answer after each one. Gosh, this is tough.
You can.
Yeah. No, speed.
Speed. What is one piece of tech you think every coffee shop should have, but most don't?
Reporting platform, but it had a hyphen in it, so that counts as one word.
I think we'll take it. We'll
Okay.
take it. What is the biggest digital initiative win you've had in the last 12 months?
Toast. The point of sale. We aren't launching Toast, but the point of sale. That's been fantastic.
Do you expect most growth in traditional coffee or non-coffee beverage categories over the next year?
Traditional.
Last one. In a perfect world, how fast could a new Caribou drive-thru store go live from the real estate deal to the first cup being served?
6 months.
Eric, I want to thank you very much for joining me here today. Everyone, Eric Caron, Senior Director of Digital Products at Caribou Coffee. Eric, have a good one. Thanks.
Thanks for your time.